So let us begin with our prayer then after this very strong message. Feeling the presence of God in our lives. We feel your embrace, dear God. And the invitation to deepen our awareness. Life is really short. What are 100 years? In immortality. So we want to make the most of the gift of time, the gift of life, seeking the good to find true happiness. And we are so happy that today you brought us together and invited a friend who is the expression of joy, showing how Spiritism and its message is so deeply empowering. It makes us rejoice all the time amidst the challenges and the obstacles. We're so privileged that we bow our heads to you and ask you to please grant us an opportunity to give back for the much we have received. We visualize at this moment the spirit doctors, the nurses and the therapists coming to each one of us to treat us throughout this therapeutic talk, certain that your mercy is so great that you abundantly provide everything that we need. We pray for everyone who has their names in the book of prayer, everyone who is connected to us, and we feel your presence ever more closely, today and always, and so be it. Before you go on, before the teachers go to everybody, let's say hi to this friend together. You know, Angie Stewart. She's here with us. Soon we'll bring her in person. We'll make arrangements. She's here. There. Angie, you can see them.
Hey!
There you go. There, Angie. Look at Virginia, Angie. You haven't seen her in a long while.
God, look at you, so big! Oh.
Right. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I need to go to Virginia, or you guys can come here to Miami.
Oh, you come here first. We invited first. But it's a must. But Angie, I've known her other lives, but this life alone, it's been a long time, a few decades. And I know she has an 18, believe it or not, she has an 18-year-old son. Doesn't look like it. Right? And Angie used to be in New York. She used to participate in a Spiritist center, and then she founded one of the first Spiritist centers fully in English in Manhattan, New York, the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society, in 2007, when the Spiritist Society of Virginia also began. So we're twins. Yes, exactly. Right? We're twins. It's actually triplets because the Mount Vernon began at the same time. So, right? And I saw her, remember, if her son is 18, she founded the Spiritist Center when he was 3, and she was already a Spiritist worker. Angie never stopped her life because she's a mom. And I hear people saying, I'm a mom, I'm a mom. Okay, so the world's gonna stop because we're a mom, right? But you don't stop working because you're a mom. So why should you stop the spiritual work? I don't know. I don't think we should. And Angie is an example of what it is to be a professional, a mom, a married woman, and a very dedicated spiritist worker. Very dedicated spiritist practitioner. And then she moved, she's a lawyer, she moved with her husband and her son to Miami. And then in Miami, right? She created the Miami Enlightenment. Right? Yes. And, in New York and now in Miami, she's done and coordinated and led these beautiful works with her teams, helping also the homeless, helping people in nursing homes. I saw pictures of her dressed up as Carmen Miranda to go to nursing homes, right? Right? Coordinating the efforts of the largest collective work in Spiritism in the US, which is the Spiritist Family Retreat that happens in Connecticut every year. So she's so dedicated. She doesn't stop. She's also a host at Cardiac Radio. She doesn't stop. There's no excuse for her. And I say this asking her to forgive us for sharing this, but we have to share because we are living at a time and an age when people give us 10,000 excuses for not partaking in the works of the spirits. My work, my house, my husband. Her husband is very supportive, though he's not a spiritist worker or spiritist, right?
Yeah.
She never stopped because of the husband or the family or this, anything. She kept on going and really cheering us up. And now they just opened their headquarters there in Miami, which is a big victory for the good on earth. While people are thinking of traveling nonstop because they feel victimized by COVID, right? Oh, poor me. She's thinking of doing the works of the good. Maybe because she doesn't need to travel that much. She's in Miami. I'm joking. When she was in New York, she was just the same. Though she's there in Miami, she's not giving excuses to go to the beach. She's working. So we're so privileged that she's here with us. And she's going to talk about happiness on earth, where we can find it. If it is in Miami, maybe we can pack and go. Right? I haven't read that in the gospel though, but let's see what's going to happen. But she's going to delight us with the talk. Before she goes, the children and the teens can wave to Miss Angie, because one day she'll be here, right? We can wave and go with our beautiful educators, right? Okay. Today our children are going to learn about mental connections. They're going to learn some important information to empower them to stay strong in their mental connections. Meanwhile, we'll strengthen our connections with Angie. Angie, we're all yours, okay? So you can see some of us, not all, but some.
Very good. Very good. Wow. Thank you so much, Vanessa. It's a beautiful, beautiful words. But, I have to say that you were my inspiration. I have to say I'm hyper. Everybody knows I'm super hyper. So I would be diagnosed as ADHD, hyperactivity. But that's what I always say to people. Discover what are your goals, what are the things you like to do. And if you have this extra energy, dedicate to it. Go ahead and do it. And it's very important, really, to talk about the motherhood, parenthood and the spiritism. So many people, unfortunately, so many people, when they have kids, they kind of abandon the spiritism and they say, no, later on, we will come back. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But we can always manage. Don't we find babysitters for our children when we want to go to a party? So we can find babysitters, or you can do like me. I brought my baby to the Spiritist Center. Yes, not very easy, but you manage. When you don't have an option, you manage. And you find a connection of people that can help you in any situation when you are doing the good work. So when I moved to Miami, I was very nervous about leaving inner enlightenment. And I was like, oh gosh, it was 10 years old. And I'm like, oh, I'm leaving now. But everything has a time to go, to start, to continue. And what we have to understand is that a Spiritist Center is not ours. I open it, but it's from the good spirits. It's from the work of Jesus. So other wonderful people continue. My friends, they are there until nowadays, and I'm super happy about it. So when I moved to Miami, I didn't know anyone here. Actually, I knew few people from the Spiritist Federation, but I live very far from them. And I wanted to meet people. So I created a group in my neighborhood to meet my neighbors. And I organize all kinds of activities. You dream about, I'm organizing. And from this group of people, I start talking about the charity. And I start trying to discover, besides going biking and going to the beach and going dancing, who likes to do charity? And most of them liked it. So I start talking about my charitable projects and that I did in New York. The main one is the loving bags for the homeless. Nowadays, we call the loving bags for the unsheltered. That's actually happening Sunday. This Sunday, in 1 week, it's happening. We are going to distribute 500 bags with 13 items in each bag to the unsheltered people living in Miami. And I am super, super excited. And another inspiration that came to my mind was really to create this group separate from the Spiritist Center. Because the group that I initially created are my neighbors. They are from many different religions, philosophies, atheists, but they are charitable. And this is the main goal, charity, doing good to others without thinking what we're going to receive in back. So I got all my neighbors to do it. I have a huge group of people donating. We are over 50 people. No, we are more because we have many cars. Here's different than New York. Here's by cars in New York. We did it walking. Anyway, what I'm saying is, it's like we can spread love wherever we go. And this is our goal. And when Vanessa told me to talk about happiness, I was like, yeah! I love it. And people say, oh, but we can't be happy all the time. Is it true? Yes, I agree. I agree. Sometimes life is not easy. Life can be challenging and complicated, but throughout the lecture, we are going to understand how to find happiness. Sometimes it's not easy, but there is always there. We have to understand also that God never abandoned us. We are never alone. We always have our guardian angel. We are surrounded by good spirits that love us from previous lives, or even in this lifetime. They are connected, they discarnated, and they are still connected with us. So, Vanessa, I don't know how much time I have. Oh, you told me 1 hour, but I just want to make sure I'm not going to go over any time because I can always speed it up. So here is how I like to start. Can we find happiness? Where should we start searching for happiness? So let's start going through the slides and understand. So this is the basic thing. This is from the dictionary. And everything that I do here, I summarize to make it like shorter for us to understand, and I can comment. So what is happiness? This is the state of being happy. So you are happy for a period of time. Don't know how long, but you are happy for that time. And what means to be happy? Feeling or showing pleasure or contentment. So pleasure or contentment. You see, I put a little coffee there. I love coffee. A little cup of espresso is like, woo! Yes, I already have a lot of energy and I get even more energy. But what makes you happy? So I would like each one of you to think about it right now. So for me, morning time is a little espresso. Woo! I'm super happy. What is it for you? We are all different. Because we are all different, each person gets happy or unhappy with a certain things. Maybe something that makes someone very, very upset. It's not upsetting for me because I'm used to it, or I can work with it, or I can digest that situation in an easier way. And happiness is in the same way. So people get happy with chocolate, others with love, others doing charity, and so many other things. And yes, we can be happy with all of them too, what is great. But this is one thing that we have to start thinking about. I will be happy when I get, this is what a lot of people put. They put a condition for happiness. They put a condition in their minds that I only will be happy when I go to Paris. Yes, Paris is beautiful. It's gorgeous. We all wanted to go to Paris many times. But is this what's going to bring you happiness in a long term? Or is a new car, is a new job, is the best friends celebrating you? Whatever is it. Is this real happiness? Well, we need to analyze and think about it, because all these and so many other things, they are actually a conditional happiness, and they are temporary. Yeah, temporary. Why not temporary? You're saying, oh, there is a wedding there, so person is temporarily happy. No, not that. I'm talking about that emotion for the first moment. For example, you get a brand new car. You're like, whoa, that's so good. My car was like 10 years old. Now I have a new car. It's super exciting. But with the time, that super excitement becomes normal. Yes, you got married, is super exciting. New life, everything is new. Usually everything is new, is exciting, because you're going to discover what's going to happen. So many things could happen. So when something is brand new, is super exciting, but then with the time, it gets kind of normal. Your marriage that was 1 year old and now is 23, mine, 23, you discover other things in it. It's not that super excitement of the beginning, but it's a lifetime, it's a companionship, it's someone that you know is your partner in good and bad. It's when you're doing bad, it comes to you and say, Angie, that's not good. Pay attention. But when it's doing good, it's like, okay, let me do with you. Anyway, this is one of the things that we have to start thinking about. What is bringing happiness into our lives? And then after we have this, then we can continue moving on. So now people always say this to me. Oh, I'm not rich. I'm not famous. I'm not successful. So I can't find happiness. They are already imposing conditions to happiness. But when we analyze these people here, these four people, they had everything. They had money, they had fame, they were very famous all over the world, not just in the US, all over the world. And they were very successful in their careers. Singers, actors, they were super successful. But unfortunately, this did not bring them happiness. There is another thing they have in common. Actually, they have many things in common, unfortunately. One of the things was depression. They were all going through depression, and very few people knew about it. Some of their family members, but not many people. Some of them, even the family, didn't know the depression was in such a bad situation. And they had another thing in common too, that was suicide. They reached to a point that they thought life was not worth it. They imagined in their minds that I can't keep up with it. This is too much for me. I'm gonna quit. But unfortunately, what they didn't understand is that life goes on. We are spiritists, so we know this physical body, as Vanessa mentioned, probably will live around 100 years, in many people much less than it. But when this physical body dies, our spirit is eternal and our spirit is alive. And our perispirit will have the consequences that the imposition of a suicide, when we took our own lives before God had designated our time. We all have a period of time to come here, to live, to produce, to learn. So it's very sad they did that. So it's a very, very important thing in this time of that we are living. A lot of people are going through deep, deep depression. We know that because during the pandemic time, this was exacerbated because people were in their homes, they couldn't meet their friends, they couldn't go out. So depression became like a pandemic, became a huge, huge problem that they can go towards suicide. We have to be extremely careful with it. And this graph here was a research done last year. And the data is very impressive. Look at this. 300 million people around the world are experiencing depression. From this 300 million, 3.1 million people between the ages 12 and 17 in the US alone have experienced depression. And go around the data, you see suicide is the second leading cause of death among people of age 10 and 35. So I moved to Miami with my family 7 years ago. My son was on eighth grade, and then he was like a very young child. And one day we are in the house and we receive a communication from the school saying the school will be closed tomorrow. And it was like, there's no holiday, nothing. The school just said that one of our children died and that we will close the school because of this reason. Not much more information. We were like, my goodness. But he studied in a very, very small school. It's only 8 kids per grade. So it's really, really small, but that's what I wanted for him. So the teachers can actually focus and can help the children in a very small environment. Like, in Brazil, my class was 47 kids in one class. But the normality in the US is around 20. So his school is small. But later on, we discovered that one of the senior kids from his school that was in high school, he committed suicide. And this was extremely painful. And they later on, the school told the kids the situation because gossip started. And it's very sad. When I spoke to Jensen asking if he knew the kid, he said he knew the kid, was a very friendly, very nice, and was a kid that used to tutor for free the younger kids. So it was like, whoa. So later on, we discovered that he was in deep depression, but he never externalized it to others. Only his family, his close family, knew that. But the school, the friends, they really didn't know. And this took everyone as a shock. So nowadays, that our kids are exposed so deeply to social media, and we already heard about bullying and so many other things that can happen in social media, we have to be careful. It's impossible for us to remove them from social media. When they are younger, we can limit the time they are exposed to so many things. They don't like Facebook. They say Facebook is for the older people. Like me, they like Instagram and so many other types of platforms. But we have to be careful. So we have to explain, we have to say, I am your best friend, I'm your mother or father or grandmother or whoever. Talk to me if you're having a problem. Usually they talk to their friends, same age, and they ask the friends to never tell the parents, and then the parents don't know much what's going on. But we have to always talk about, to have conversations. So if any of this thing is happening in our house, we will discover and we will take action. So continue. Now we are in the Gospel according to Spiritism in chapter 5, the item 20. It's very big. I summarized it here. So happiness is not of this world. This is from Francois Nicolas Madeleine, the Cardinal of Morlaix. And the 5 main items I got are those: wealth, power, and youth combined can't bring happiness. We already saw that. Earth is a place of trials and expiations. We know it. Imagine during COVID that everybody is in their homes trying to figure out when this horrible things is going to end. A war started. Russia invaded Ukraine. It's something that you never imagined could happen, especially during such a difficult moment. But this planet is of trials and expiations. We already started the regeneration phase, but we're in the very, very beginning. So we still feel like trials and expiations. So only relative happiness is possible. Yes, let's imagine a person that's absolutely happy, has everything, has money, has fame, like wealth, and is a stable person. I'm not saying a person that's going to depression. Is a stable person, active, anything is good. So this person can say, oh no, for me, happiness is a forever thing. But then one day, the best friend of this person is diagnosed with terminal cancer, for example. So, is this person happy at this moment? I don't think so. Because if this person really considers this his best friend, you will not be happy. You will be worried. You will be upset. You will be trying to pray, to do anything to help this person that you don't know how much time it will be in our lives. So this is why I say it's relative happiness to anyone on earth. And then many lives will help us to improve and evolve. Yes, we are spiritists. We know reincarnation is what we have to continue going forward, to continue always improving. The spirits tell us every life we are better. So right now, this is our best sample. People wants to know what they were in previous lives. The spirits tell us you were always worse than what you are now. So if you are not phenomenal at this moment, imagine what you were 500 years ago. Much worse for sure. So the future is brighter. And then the last one is our solar system has planets more evolved than Earth. Yes, this is a fact. The spirits already told us many times. And in this beautiful book, the Spiritist Review of 1858, there is a chapter from March 1858 that Jupiter and few other worlds, they in this, oh, so here is the book. Look, here is the book. Very thick, very thick. And in the March 18 chapter, that's where the spirits give us a really beautiful summary of all our solar system. And Earth is one of the least evolved, the least evolved. And Jupiter is the most elevated one. So if you want to know more about it, go there and you can read about it. It's beautiful. And one day we will all go there because we are going to leave Earth and we will go to more elevated planets. And from there, we go to other solar systems. As we know, God is always creating. So there are so many planets being created, and there will be other lives, other homes, as Jesus told us, that there are other homes that his Father, our Father, created. So this is good for us to know too. And this book is not translated into English, but it's so beautiful. And I love this quote, "A Reason to Live," that's the title, by Richard Simonetti. He's discarnated. And the title, the little piece is, "Happiness is not a station on the journey of existence, is a way of traveling." It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So if we think about a location like Paris, you know, Paris is not the ultimate place, but it's going there. So all the preparations, all the research, what we could do. So it's almost like life. Our life is like a trip on a train. And there is an also beautiful poem about it, that a lot of people come in this train and a lot of people leave depending on the stations. So some people come with us in the beginning of our trip, and then they go for a period of time, then they exit. Another comes until the end of our journey. So this is like our life. You know, when we reincarnate, we have a group of people, we grow up, we have a lot of other people that come, then things happen, people leave our lives for whatever reason. Sometimes they discarnate, sometimes life changes, and we don't have that connection, but the seed is with us. So I found it so beautiful. And this is a very short video, and it's very cute. So I would like to share with you. It's only 3 minutes long, so I hope you can hear it. I don't know if Vanessa has, I think she has the audio connected. So let's see.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Evans, and this is a short whiteboard on happiness. It's kind of a crazy topic, and the philosopher in me feels the more we try and make it a formula, the farther away we'll get. It's also likely we all have different meanings for happiness: pleasure, being engaged, life satisfaction. In medicine, we call it subjective well-being, with many domains: work, family, friends, spiritual, contentment, control. So I'll leave it to you to know what happiness means to you, but I do think the science of happiness comes with some useful lessons. First is, what predicts it? Well, the research points to a lot of factors, but 3 big picture players. First are your genes, your temperament or personality. Second are your life circumstances, things like wealth, where you live, health. Third are your life choices and behaviors. So of these 3 players, which is the most important? Dr. Sonia Lyubomirsky, a University of California professor, has tried to answer this question. And I think she will say these are very approximate, but about half is predicted by your genes, 40% by your life choices, and only 10% by your life circumstances. So this is interesting. I mean, I do think there's a line in the sand. So for example, lifting people out of poverty would give a lasting bump in well-being. But for most, we think, if I just had that new car, higher salary, bigger house, new lover/partner, I would be so much happier. But the research says that sure, there is a boost with the new car, a new hockey stick, a new marriage. But after time, So with a car, this might be a few months, and the generally accepted time with a marriage is about 2 years. The new becomes the norm, and our happiness quotient drops back to what it was. The fancy name for this is hedonic adaptation. But perhaps the observation is that happiness doesn't come from getting something we don't have, but rather from recognizing and appreciating what we do have, or that happiness is best pursued by extracting the most possible from the present before turning one's attention to the future. Some would call this mindfulness or living in the moment. The second big lesson is about your life choices. The good news is they are mostly in our control and overlapping. So expressing gratitude, being more forgiving, meditation and mindfulness, exercise, investing in quality relationships, kindness, altruism, and doing things for others, compassion, having good flow, where you have a kind of spontaneous joy from being fully absorbed in a task, minimizing thinking traps that make us feel bad about ourselves. All of these can work with our factory settings to increase happiness levels. And don't underestimate their effects. Let's take one, having good relationships. The Grant and Glueck cohort trials have been following two groups of men, one advantage and one disadvantage, for over 75 years. And when they looked to see what most predicted being a healthy, happy octogenarian, well, it wasn't middle-aged cholesterol. It was middle-aged satisfying connectedness to family, friends, and community. And there are many nuances we are just figuring out. For instance, dosage. Dr. Lubomirsky showed in a small trial about counting your blessings, where you list what I am grateful for, helped when it was done once a week, but not so much 3 times a week. So in the end, I think, sure, if you want to buy something cool, go for it. It might even give you a short-term bump in well-being. But maybe also consider investing in a few things that have a longer-term effect, a happiness portfolio, if you will. You may have a set point, but just like your risk of heart disease, you can alter this a lot by doing things differently. Hopefully this helps. I'm grateful that you listened and watched. See, I feel better already. Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Evans.
So I love that video. It's so cute, and I love the idea of the happiness portfolio. So based on that video, we already spoke up a lot about many of the items there, and that video is a scientific proof research. So this is really, really good, because a lot of people say, oh, spiritism is something that you believe, I don't connect. No, but certain things, science already know it. So it's different. But anyway, so I created this guidelines for happiness here. And I will talk a little bit about each item of this, because I understand that these are the items that we need to have, or they will help us to build up this happiness in the long term. We don't want to have the short-term happiness. We want to have the long-term happiness, because whenever something difficult happen in our lives and we can be happy at that moment, we understand that there is the light in the end of the tunnel, and this will help me to build up strength and be happy again. So let's start talking about it. So these guidelines that I created was based in this beautiful 5 books. So Happy Life and the Pills of Trust are very small books. They are super powerful and they are beautiful. And Vanessa, you gave me one of these, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, a long, long time ago. I still have it. Very, very beautiful. So let's talk about trusting God. This is the base for us. A lot of people from many different religions, they have a God. They have even if they don't have a religion, they have God within them. With the of course, the atheists, they don't believe in God, but I'm talking about the ones that don't have a religion, but they know there is something bigger than us, because that's the important thing. So we understand that the God is our Father who created everything. He knows everything. So God is the big mother and father. And it's important for us to be totally sure of it, because, the world, there are so many beautiful things. There is a lecture of Divaldo Franco, the Brazilian medium, that he mentions this. He mentions the beauty of the microorganisms and the macroorganisms. Because, like, for example, when we think about the cells in our bodies, they are so perfect. Everything works so perfect. And when we talk about the universe, Givaldo even mentioned about the planet Earth, and he made a comparison. If Earth was a little bit closer to the sun, our planet might be too hot and we wouldn't be able to have life here. And if Earth was a little bit further than the sun, then it might be too cold and life wouldn't be able to be here. So everything was so well organized, so well planned. Was the man who created it? No, it has to be God. It has to be this energy that we don't even know how to describe. And continue. So trust in yourself is another thing that's very important. I love the sentence from Barack Obama. Yes, I can. Yes, you can. We all can do everything. We just want to desire really strongly to do that. Because a lot of people, oh, for example, when we mention motherhood, oh, but your son is only 3 months. You are taking him to the Spirit Center. Yes, I'm taking him, even if for just a few moments to have a passy, to listen to a lecture. If I can't stay the long term, just to be there for a little bit. But you can do anything you want. You just need to put a focus on it. Of course, when you don't have that strong of a desire, it is already different. Let me give you a quick example. I had a friend he was talking to me one day, and I said, "Oh, so are you still dating that girl?" And he said, "Oh, no, I broke up with her. I'm from Rio in Brazil, so we lived in Rio, and the girl lived in Niterói. It's like in the other side of the bay, if you can figure." And then he said, "Oh no, she lives too far away. I need to cross the bridge. It's too difficult to keep a relationship like that." And then I started laughing without stopping. And he's like, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Well, because my boyfriend lives in New York City and I live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil." And he was like, "Wow, yes." Super long distance relationship. But that's the thing. When it's something that you really, really want, that was not a problem for us. But for him, it was, because maybe it was not really what he wanted. So the thing is, be faithful, be positive, be proactive. And if you want it, it will happen, or it will be at least easier to happen. Know thyself. That's another super, super important point. Because what happened is that we know our qualities. We know our qualities so well. We only have qualities. We are perfect. No, we are not. We have so many character defaults. We have many issues. And many times we masquerade, and our friends only know the qualities. But the people that really live close to you, they know your faults. They live with you all the time. They know if you are hungry. Like me, I don't get very friendly. I get a little agitated, to say the best. So every time I'm getting a little, my husband said, "When was the last time you ate?" Very funny. Anyway, so in the Spirit's book, question 919, St. Augustine, he has a beautiful explanation that he talks about the reflect and improvement, where he mentions that every day in his life, when he was going to bed, he used to lay down on bed and talk to God, thinking about everything good he did and everything he could have done better, or anything he imagined was a mistake. And he reflect on that, And he said, tomorrow I will be better. Tomorrow I will not commit the same mistake. So it's a beautiful, beautiful portion of the text that you should go there and read the full experience of St. Augustine. So number 4, seek and you will find. So in the gospel, chapter 25, the items 1 and 2. So I got this little summary. If you help yourself, then heaven will come to your aid. So a lot of people keep saying, oh, I pray for a new job and I'm not getting. It's very, very sad. I don't know what to do. I'm getting really out of my savings. And then I say, did you redo your resume? Oh no, because my resume it's good. I'm like, when was the last time you redid your resume? Oh, like 5 years ago. I'm like, what? Nowadays, you basically should look into your resume every year minimum, because you have to be always improving. You have to add the classes you have done. You have to add what did you learn in that year? Did you rank in a higher position? Did you do any? Nowadays, companies even look if you have participated in any type of extracurricular activity. In my company, for example, they want to know if you help in charitable activities, whatever you do extra, and they help a little bit, but they help your initiatives. So this is very, very good. So if you're searching for a job and you don't even do a new resume, if you don't talk to your friends, if you don't go to job interviews, if you don't search online, how do you expect to get a new job? So this is only one example of many, many, many things in life. When you want something, you have to be proactive. You have to go and seek for it. If you stay home just praying, the spirits are probably like, oh my God, if he called the person A, this person will guide him, will give him ideas, but the person is inactive. So think about it. It's very similar to know your thyself. So know your qualities and your character default. So if your character default is to be like a lazy, relax, waiting for something to happen, know it and change. Be active. Because although you are not going to help spirituality to help you, love and trust in yourself. That's beautiful. So in the Gospel, chapter 6, Christ the Consoler, we have spiritists love one another. That is the first precept. And educate yourselves is the second. We know that elevated spirits, they have both. They have a lot of moral in the morality in the highest, but also intellectuality, intelligence. So we need to evolve in both. And love is the most important, because the spirits even tell us too that it's easier for human beings to develop intelligence, to be intellectual developed, but the heart, the morality, the goodness is still harder. It takes longer. So that's why there are so many brilliant people around the world that they have no compassion. They are like a colder, and they are very materialistic in many senses. So remember this: love and instruct yourself. So love yourself, learn your character defaults, learn how to improve, and learn that when you love yourself, it's easier to others love you. Because imagine if you don't like yourself, how somebody else is going to like you. So understand your qualities and enhance them, and your problems, your issues, work on them so you can improve and you can be a better person. And then love one another. This is also super important. Imagine if you just love yourself. Oh, I love myself. but you don't love anybody else. That's not good. That's not good. So in Genesis chapter 1, from the items 26 to 42, the Spiritism is the consoler. And who teaches us how to love? So when you are a Spiritist, when you come to lectures, when you participate in study groups, when you join charitable acts, you change so much. I always tell people that come to me and they say, oh, I'm depressed, I'm unhappy, I'm this, I'm that. And I said, come, join us. And then I bring them to do something. When we do something out of our ordinary, it's an impact. Some people don't feel comfortable, but then they start understanding and they start analyzing. Like Vanessa mentioned the nursing home parties. I moved here and I did the nursing home parties here in Miami too. I had to stop because of the pandemic. And then last year they changed the rules, but this year things are better. And I'm already inviting friends to participate. You can do something to make others happy. So we go to the nursing home, maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to them, touching them, but then you will start feeling better. You will start like, good morning, how are you? The same thing for the homeless. You don't feel good about going them, they're on the street, you don't know if they are violent or not, but everything we do with love, we remember, when you're doing something with love, you are already protected. You are being guided, inspired. And many times we are going in a group, so there is even more protection. So do good and you will receive good. Maybe not from that same elderly that you were singing or dancing, maybe not the same homeless that you just gave a little bag with few gifts, but the universe will give back to you. So one day when we learn how to love our brother, our husband as everyone else, that's when the world would be really evolved. And this is our goal, to try to learn the ones that we don't know so well in a deeper way. Shine your light. We all have light. I love to say this, shine your light, when I'm grabbing people to the nursing home performances, because everybody said, oh, no, I don't know how to sing, I don't know how to dance, I don't know. I'm like, no. We all have a light. We all have something beautiful within us. You just need to discover what it is. Even if it's a poem, you wrote a beautiful poem, come, I tell them, come to the nursing home, read your poem. They will appreciate. Whatever we can do, it will be there. If you have nothing, just come and clap and laugh. Help us to bring their wheelchairs, do something. And with this, irradiate the light from your own good thoughts and good actions. So when our mindset change, so instead of seeing problems and mistakes and errors and getting angry all the time, you start analyzing and say, this person has to be sick to be doing this, to be saying this. Or you start connecting with other things because you cannot digest that problem at that moment. Your mindset changes and things improve. And then you put in action the love that you have within you. Be charitable. That's one of the things that help most of us. Anyone who is depressed, if this person could be brought to a charitable activity, their life would be changing. There are so many things we can do. There are many hospitals that you can sign up and go there to read for kids with cancer, to play with them. There are activities everywhere, but we want to go. That's the point. You have to desire to do it, because then you will feel better. So helping others boost our self-esteem, make us happy. Goodness will return to us from the universe, as I had mentioned before. And this There are scientific studies. So it's not just a spiritist person saying. There are scientific research that brings this knowledge for us. And one day we will have the end of materialism. One day. It's not happening. It's not the end right now, but it is happening. Science is reaching to a point that they are reaching to some areas that they cannot find the answer. And a lot of scientists, they are already like, okay, has to have something more than what we can prove. Has to have something that we don't understand and exist. So my son, he's very scientific mind, but as you know, he grew up in a spiritist center, and he's very much connected with spirituality and science. So he wanted to do a physicist. He wanted to do quantum physics. He that's what he wanted to do until he faces calculus, and now he wants to do he wants to be a biologist, but he's still pretty much into quantum physics, and he tried to explain quantum physics. Let me tell you, it's not something easy. It's very difficult, and he actually wanted to give a lecture on quantum physics and spiritism. But later on, he started explaining that to be able to make the correlation, he would have to go deep in quantum physics, and it could be a little boring to people that understand zero about the science. And because he has to give all this background to reach to spirituality. But basically, quantum physics is the science that cannot be proven, because if you examine certain things, if you are looking into certain things, this behaves in a way. And when this is not being looked into, it behaves in a different way. And it's like, for science, this is crazy, because science is 1 + 1 is 2 forever and ever and ever. But in quantum physics, it is not. So these physicists, they are reaching to a conclusion that there is more than what they can understand, because when they cannot prove it, they start questioning. And this is the beautiful thing. One day, science and the spirituality will be so close together. They will understand each other, both sides, because we have to understand them and they have to understand us. And we have beautiful Vanessa Anceloni here. She is also a scientist, and she started this. She has this understanding that one day all the scientists will have. But in the Spirit's book, we have in question 147 that why scientists fall into materialism. And the answer from the Spirit is pride, thinking that nature can hide nothing from them. It is a slow change, but it is changing. And this is the beautiful thing. It is changing. And the 10th element is the eternal life. So, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are eternal spirits. We are in this body here, in this life, one life. A lot of people like to tell me, oh, Angie, we have to live life because we only have one, so we have to enjoy it. And I always tell them, no, don't come with this sentence to me, because I am a spiritist and my life is eternal. My body is living one life only. And then they're like, oh, God, it's difficult to joke with you. I'm like, we can joke, but we are eternal spirits. So in Spirit's book 153, the question, what is eternal life? So the spirit is eternal. Reincarnations help us to improve morally and intellectually, finding happiness. So our goal is to find happiness. And one day we will all find this happiness. But how? So I created this little way of finding happiness. And I put the pets here because, during the pandemic, a lot of people, they adopted or purchased animals. And of course, I love the ones who adopt because there are so many animals around the world that need a home. And it's a blessing when you go there and you adopt. Both of my dogs, they were both adopted. And this is a little path to bring us a little bit happiness. So, kindness, forgiveness, natural curiosity in life, gratitude, generosity, patience, and gratitude journal. This is another thing that is also proven, scientific proven too. I researched so many of these things, you have no idea. I really love this research because I love the science is really walking faster. And some scientists are faster than us. This is another thing I remember many years ago when I first opened up the Spiritist Center in New York. Inner Enlightenment. Here in Miami is Mia Inner Light, is the younger sister. And Vanessa told me, oh, Angie, she gave me a huge list of scientists that wrote books or they did research of this and that. And I start really, really researching, following, understanding, and a beautiful research. And the name of the book is 20 Cases of Reincarnation. And Dr. Ian Stevenson, he is amazing. I love him. I read so many of his books, and that one is like this. But also the person who took his spot and continue, Dr. Jim Tucker. My spiritual guide just told me his name because I forgot. That's the good thing of being a medium, well connected. So Dr. Jim Tucker, yes, he is wonderful. If you go do a Google Jim Tucker and reincarnation, you are going to see the beautiful work that he has been doing after Dr. Ian Stevenson passed. Beautiful. So this is science doing well, and they are in the University of Virginia. Woo-hoo, look at that. Isn't that great? That's awesome. So we are approaching to the end, and I just want to finalize with this video. You probably know this video is extremely popular, is famous, is old, but it's such a touching video. It touches me so deeply that if you already saw, I want you to watch again and connect deeper. Sometimes when we see something, we just, I already saw that. But look again, analyze that person and think, if you could be that person for one day, what would you do? And think what impact you would have in the life of that person. Maybe it's a cranky neighbor that is so cranky that you don't even like to look. But you say, good morning. And that person one day will come back and will say good morning to you. And there is a story. I think I still have time. I don't want to go over too much, but the video is super quick. So I'm just going to say a very quick story. There is a story of Chico Xavier. Chico Xavier is the Brazilian medium, very famous from Brazil, discarnated many years ago. He was extremely charitable, even if he was super, super poor. He used to do a bag of food every day and go to a neighbor's house, knock on the door, and leave the bag there. The neighbor never opened the door. The neighbor never said thank you. The neighbor never did anything towards Chico Xavier. But he continued going there. He continued going there. Every time he had a little bit of food, he went there, he knocked, and he left. And he knew this person needed, but the person never said thank you. One day, a neighbor, another person came running and said, Chico, you don't know who died. And the Chico, who? And he said, that person that you give food all the time and never says thank you to you. He already died. You don't need to do it anymore. And the Chico very calmly said, oh, I know. Emmanuel already told me, but he is very, very well now. And he finally said, thank you. And this story for me is just like, my God, Chico was the example of someone that always did good for anyone, never expected even a little thank you. So watch the video and connect with it and think, what can you do today to be a better person for yourself and then for the others?
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวันเขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลยไม่ได้รวยขึ้นไม่ได้ออกทีวีไม่มีใครรู้จักไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้นเพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้คือได้แค่ความรู้สึกได้เห็นความสุขได้เข้าใจได้ความรักได้ในสิ่งที่เงินซื้อไม่ได้ได้โลกที่สวยงามกว่าเดิมในชีวิตคุณอะไรคือสิ่งที่คุณต้องการมากที่สุด
ไทยประกันชีวิตเชื่อในความดี
Very good, my friends. I love this video. I love this video. So I get very emotional. But now you have all the tools to be happy. So now it's within you to start the process of improving yourselves to make you a better person, a happier person. Then you can spread your light around yourselves, making everybody else that you know or you connect to have a little bit of your love and your light. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here with you all.
promise for helping. All right. Thank you, Angie. I also felt very moved by the clip.
What's the link there?
The length? The link. Do you think you can share the link in with me so I can send it to John? The link.
The link of
The
talking to
clip. The clip.
Oh
The-
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can search the link and send to you and you share with them.
Thank you so much, Angie. Angie, a lot of food for thought, a lot to think about, to feel, and to realize, right? We are here now. And at the same time, there are people who are in the hospital right now, or in situations that are so difficult. And even the discarnate spirits, we think they don't suffer, they suffer much or more than we do. And it's good to think that we can strengthen ourselves to do the right so we can sow happiness, cultivate it. Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A big hug from all of us. Now we're going to move to the passes, okay? Thank you.
Good.
Beautiful work. Big hug to everyone there.
Miss you.
Yeah.
Love everybody. Thank you. Be happy. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. We'll be in touch, Angie. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
I found the commercial.
Yes.
I found the
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now we're going to move to the passes. For those who will be watching this online when we stream, not today. You can also take the opportunity for the passes. So let us now move to that moment, okay? We'll prepare ourselves, all our friends. Let us visualize our Master Jesus in his loving, healing hands, applying the energy medicine that we need. Let us feel the vibrations of his loving heart emanating pure light. But on our end, let us also give, visualizing our waterfalls of healing light upon us, helping the spirit doctors with Jesus in our own treatment. This is a moment to give of ourselves. Let us visualize flowers of healing being distributed to everyone in this room. Let us breathe in the perfume of these flowers and bring them closer to our hearts to feel energized. Let us also offer these flowers to someone whom we love much and want to express our gratitude. Let us see the beautiful smile of our Master Jesus, his open arms. He loves us, he doesn't judge us. Let us visualize him embracing us, bringing us close to his heart. Let us allow the rays of the healing light that comes from his heart to envelop us completely. Let us surrender to his loving care. Let us visualize our beloved Mother Mary with her legion of servants, her loving care spreading to everyone, bringing flowers, flowers of healing, lavender bouquet of flowers. Let us breathe in and out, intaking this remedy and breathing out the toxins of the mind and the bodies. Let us visualize our best friend. Who's our best friend?
Jesus.
Yeah. Let us visualize him with his loving heart, his beautiful smile, looking at us, opening his arms, and embracing us with his loving care, passing on to us his strengthening energies, protecting us, and bringing us to a new level of understanding. Let us feel it and express our gratitude for his loving care.
Milkshake.
Let us continue joining forces, everyone, and giving of ourselves. Let us feel that we have a beautiful bouquet of flowers in our hands given by the loving doctors. And visualize this bouquet of flowers being given to people who are in the hospitals, recovering from their illnesses, visualizing the flowers strengthening them, bringing them light, bringing them new strength. Let us now visualize people receiving these flowers of healing, distributing also to all physicians in hospitals, to the nurses, visualizing them feeling the light of these flowers enveloping them in new strength, in new hope, in the joy of serving.
Let us now close our eyes. Let us continue visualizing Master Jesus with us as we raise our thoughts. Dear Master Jesus, we feel the joy that fills our heart. As you told us, Master Jesus, the good news were brought to us to bring us joy. Joy of living in this reincarnation. Joy of knowing that we are eternal beings. That we evolve always. And that everything passes. Regardless of the challenges of struggles. After the night, there is the dawn. And the sun shines bright each and every day. Master Jesus, we ask that we can take this joy with us everywhere we go. Without words, we can spread your good news for all those who encounter, being true examples and living letters of your love in our homes, our workplaces, our communities, and when we are in our day-to-day tasks, and also here at the Spirit Center. We pray, Master Jesus, for those who at this very moment are feeling desperate, those who are feeling without hope, without joy, those who cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. We pray that you send the helping hands in both realms so they can have the strength to continue moving forward, because we know, Master Jesus, with you everything's possible and true miracles come to light. We ask that we can apply this week this joy in our lives, the gratitude, and always being your servants. And with your permission, Master Jesus, we ask that we can pray this study and healing sessions of this morning. Today, stay in your presence today and always. And so be it.